the most ordinary shopping mall. 16-year-old Kate worked in one of the small shops selling trinkets for teenagers. It was already 5 p.m. She started getting ready to leave. Kate opened the locker assigned to her for her belongings, took out a scarf, and turned back to her bag. She saw a little girl standing by one of the cabinets filled with trinkets. The girl had curly blonde hair, a blue sweater with a red stain, stretched out shorts, and boots. She looked about 8 years old. Kate thought the girl was very cute. She approached her, squatted down, and said, "Hey, hi there, little one. Do you want to buy something? Where are your parents?" The girl looked at Kate, smiled sweetly, and said, "They're waiting for me outside. I don't have any money." Kate replied, "Okay, you can look around for a bit, but not for long because we're closing soon." The girl nodded. Kate grabbed her bag, turned around, and walked towards the girl. She said, "Okay, it's time to leave." The girl hurried out of the store. Kate followed her out, but the little girl was nowhere to be seen. The next day, Kate arrived at work. Everything was as usual. The day was dull, but then a familiar blue sweater flashed before Kate's eyes. It was her break time, and she approached the little girl. "Hey, hi there, remember me?" Kate asked with a smile. "Yes, I remember." The girl didn't even turn around. "What's your name?" asked Kate. "Mary," she replied coldly. "Mary, would you like me to treat you to a milkshake at the cafe next door?" Kate smiled. "Yes," said Mary. She took Kate's hand and led her to the cafe. Kate ordered 2 milkshakes and began asking Mary questions. "Where are your parents?" asked Kate. "They're at home," the girl replied very sadly and covered her face with her hands. "Why are you upset?" asked Kate. "They think my sister is bad. They locked her in the basement." Mary started to cry. "Oh my God," was all Kate could say. "She is good," Mary screamed. "They will punish her," the girl wailed. Kate imagined crazy parents beating Mary's sister. Horrifying images appeared in her mind. She quickly finished her milkshake and said, "I'll help your sister. Show me where you live," Kate said, half scared. Mary left her milkshake unfinished. She grabbed Kate's hand and led her out of the shopping mall. They walked about 15 blocks. Mary pointed to an old house. The girl took out keys and led Kate into the entrance. Scared, Kate was already imagining news reports saying, "A 16-year-old girl has gone missing." On 15.6.2013, Kate left her workplace and did not return. She was picturing angry parents with a knife and all sorts of unpleasant scenes. Mary led her into the apartment. Kate pinched her nose at the strong smell. They walked past the kitchen, and Kate noticed a knife lying next to moldy sandwiches with jam. Mary went into a room, opened the balcony door, and showed Kate the door to the basement. Probably the only new thing in this house was the sturdy lock that separated Kate and Mary from the poor girl being tortured by her parents. Kate found a hammer and hit the lock with all her strength. After 11 strikes, the lock broke, and Kate opened the door. It was terribly dark inside. She turned on her phone's flashlight and shone it around. The girl hit the switch, but it didn't work. She heard sobbing. Going downstairs, she shone the light into a corner and saw a girl who was Mary's twin with 2 corpses beside her. They were the parents. The girl started crying hysterically. Sobbing, she barely managed to say, "Why did you let her in?" "I thought I'd be safe here." The girl looked towards the stairs. Kate turned around. Mary was standing behind her with a huge smile on her face. She was holding a knife. "Thank you for everything, Kate." We were coming back from a party that night, 3 of us, around 2 in the morning, completely drunk, but walking fine. We ended up in an unfamiliar courtyard. It was pitch dark all around, couldn't see a thing. My friends were tired and suggested, "Hey, there's a playground over there, let's sit down." We all liked the idea, so we headed there. A boy, about 10 years old, was slowly swinging on the swings. We were a bit surprised. What was he doing out here so late? My friend shouted from afar, "Hey kid, "Isn't it a bit late for you?" The boy didn't respond. My friend, with his drunken principles kicking in, wasn't having it. He needed the boy to answer. So he started walking toward him, saying, "Hey, are you deaf or what?" We held him back, telling him he might end up hitting the kid. Then I noticed something that made me feel uneasy. Even in the darkness, it was clear the boy was smiling, but it was a strange smile, almost ear to ear. I thought maybe it was just the alcohol, but later we all realized we had noticed it. "Why's he grinning like that?" my friend grumbled. The boy kept smirking, his face unchanged, slowly swinging back and forth. "Are you okay, kid?" someone asked. The boy stayed silent, then suddenly stood up from the swing, reached both hands to his left eye, fiddled around and threw something on the ground. Blood started streaming down his face. All I could muster was, "No way," before I was hit with a wave of nausea. Covering my mouth, I ran off without looking back. My friends rushed to the boy, shouting, "What are you doing?" I waited for a long time at the edge of that courtyard, but my friends didn't come. I didn't have the courage to go back, and they weren't answering their phones, so I went home alone. By morning, they had turned up. They said they woke up in the hallway of some 9-story building, dirty and hungover. They didn't remember anything about the boy or the swings. They didn't take my story seriously, saying it must have been a drunken hallucination. But I know for sure it wasn't a hallucination. I wanted to show them that courtyard later, but I could never find it again. We had walked there at night. The area was unfamiliar, full of identical 9-story buildings and similar courtyards. Impossible to find the right one. My friend Ira is a professional dancer. She's always on the move, loves to pick up and spend 6 months to a year in various parts of our country. So one day Ira and 2 of her friends were invited to a small town in the north to dance at a club. The club was located in an old hotel building, and the girls stayed there as well. They were told that the previous owner of the hotel had either hanged himself or shot himself on the floor where they were living. The girls were scared to be there alone, so they tried to stick together. They slept in one big room. One night, Ira woke up with a strange sensation. It felt like a heavy weight was pressing down on her, making it hard to breathe. She tried to scream and get up from the bed, but it was as if she was paralyzed. At first, she just lay there and cried, but then she calmed down a bit and began to cautiously push away whatever was pressing on her with her hands, which still had some ability to move. Apparently, this helped. Soon the weight pressing on her disappeared. All this time, her friends were in the kitchen, and she could hear them talking and drinking tea. About a year later, in another city, Ira happened to meet one of those same friends at a club. They started talking, and it turned out that after working at that club, the friend had started experiencing severe shoulder pain. It would even become paralyzed. The doctors couldn't provide any sensible explanation, so she went to a healer. The healer, as soon as she saw her, said, "Dear, you have a dead person hanging on your shoulder." She also added that if the girl hadn't come to her in time, the dead person would have dragged her along. She gave her some herbal infusion, and everything passed. And Ira believes that it was this very dead person who was trying to climb onto her shoulder that she managed to push away that night.